Okay, good morning, everybody. Today's date is June 25th, 2022. Hold on. Excuse me, please. And my name is Leslie Williams. I'm apologizing ahead of time if there's any brief interruptions in this video pertaining to my verbalizations, my statements. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fly right into the subject matter of this video. This video is not a video to educate you about the entire program of gang stalking. That couldn't even be done in a 10-hour long video because this crime is massive. It's extremely intrusive. It's a literal epidemic all across America. So there's no way that any gang stalking victim can educate you about the entire program of gang stalking pertaining to what it is, how it operates, what their motives are, and how it's protected. So, but this is a video that's being made in order to just throw some information out there to you and to describe some descriptions about things that I've been through and I'm going through. And remember, this is just a 33-minute and 9-second long video. So again, remember, there's any statements that I make in this video, always keep in mind when you listen to this video, and no matter what date you're listening to it on, when you are a victim of gang stalking, so many things are happening to gang stalking victims. When we make certain specific exposures, one thing that should always be considered is that in any situation related to gang stalking, the program that is applied against gang stalking victims, each technique, each method, each tactic, each thing that's done, why it's done, how it's done, who's involved in it, who's used for it, and how it's protected. There's a lot of details and even sub-details connected to the details, which are massive. So there's no way that an entire scope of the fabric and tapestry of each thing that the victim experiences can be thoroughly detailed in a 33-minute long video. So the only thing I can do in this particular video, in order to bring home some descriptions of some of the concerning the subject matter, is to just throw it out there. But I want you to keep in mind that there are a lot of details which are very expansive, meaning there's a lot of the details hold a lot more information, and then the sub details related to it also hold a lot of information. So always keep in mind that if you were even to hear these details and sub details, you would see a wider scope of the things involved in what I'm going to be talking about. So please keep that in mind. But you need to understand and know the details and the sub details are all connected to the crimes that are happening to the victim. So let me share to you with some information. Now, the crime of gang stalking literally gang stalked me to at least 4 apartments in Michigan and 1 in Tennessee, and intentionally employed techniques and methods and tactics which included through cooperating covert relationships in order to make me homeless from each apartment. And I did many things in order to prove that these techniques were being intentionally, covertly managed in order for them to be effected, in order for the motive to then be achieved. I was an active player, okay, in many things, in many responses to things I was enduring. You need to remember that gang stalking and their little organized crime, satanic little demented, depraved, wild whore asses, and I apologize for the extreme descriptive language. Please do not walk away from this video. This video is it's very relevant. It's a very relevant video. You need to hear what gang stalking victims are enduring. Gang stalking victims' anger is completely 100% righteously justified. And I try to hold back on my emotions when I make my videos a little. Sometimes, though, it's a teeny bit hard. So I do apologize for that. But, you know, if you can think to yourself, how do you think it realistically, factually, if you can think to yourself logically, what type of emotions do you think would be induced in you if someone took you out of your home? If someone stole every bit of property that you ever owned that would be in your home that you have acquired over the years, including things, obviously these things you worked hard for, spent money on, how do you think you would feel as someone, an unknown, complete stranger to you that would be managing the program against you, forced you to not only be homeless, but then in the commission of it and the effect of it, caused you to lose tens and tens of thousands of dollars. Okay, and all your property, everything from your toothbrush to your toilet brush to every item that you have in every room. And this is literally no exaggeration at all. These are described statements that are being made that describe the facts behind everything that I'm saying right now is the absolute, complete, pure, thorough truth. So, in order for your mind to get a more complete visualization of what I'm stating, when you go home today, whether it be a house, an apartment, a mobile home, a motel room, whatever, look at what you have in your home. From every room, from your basement to your attic to your bedroom, your office, your living room, your dining room, your kitchen, look at everything that you own. You have to look at this video. When you hear what I state, you got to really take in everything that I'm saying, and I want to say take it in slowly so your mind has the time to review each one of my structured statements pertaining to my descriptions of what these satanic rats did to me and my fellow tens and tens of thousands of victims all over America, including annually. Okay? Now, if you take that extra moment and you mentally sit back while you're in your home, because that's one of the best ways to do it. And I'm going out of my way to make these extra statements because I'm trying to bring home to you the depth and the measure of what's being done to gang stalking victims, completely innocent people. And even if you were a criminal being targeted by these satanic rats, everything gang stalking does, from beginning to end, from A to Z, from top to bottom, and every angle in between, is nothing but extreme crime. Every crime they commit has got malice aforethought, criminal intent, aiding and abetting, conspiracy, obstruction of justice, conspiracy against rights, and much more. Meaning that these are extreme criminals targeting completely innocent people. But even if you were a criminal being targeted by these criminals, it still does not give these criminals rights to target criminals in these ways, because there are things called laws. Well, these wild whores literally believe in their pathology every day, and every action that they do, from the slightest misdemeanor to the Class A felonies, up to the extreme human rights abuses, believe in their whole entire mindset, attitude, personality, belief system, thinking processes, choices, and actions. Believe they got a right to do what they do because they're literal, the most extreme criminals that have ever walked this planet. There are scientists, professors, doctors, and tens of thousands of extremely intelligent, educated victims saying the same thing. These are the most demonic rats who have ever walked this planet. They literally believe in the most minute fiber of their being that they have a right to do anything and everything to anybody they want at any time, anywhere, including continuously, endlessly. They are the most extreme criminals that have ever walked this planet. You will deduce this yourself when you research electromagnetic weapons torture and gang stalking, directed energy weapons torture, scalar weapon torture, plasma weapons, x-ray weapons, remote neural monitoring, voice to skull, and all the other demonic technologies that these satanic, mass-murdering, filthy, human trafficking, rat-ass animal maggots are using against completely innocent Americans, average folks. So just hear me out, please. So when you're sitting in your home, in a quiet, mature, logical posture, sit back and just do this. It's very simple to do, but please, for the sake of you seeing a more in-depth, truthful reality of my follow-up statements that you hear me state, do this. Sit quietly in your home and look at what's in each one of your rooms. When you're sitting in your living room watching a movie, when you go into your kitchen to make something to eat, dinner, lunch, breakfast, when you go to your bathroom for whatever reason, when you're sitting in your office, when you're going into your closets to get whatever you need out of your closet, when you go into your basement, every room in your home, sit down quietly for a few minutes and think about everything that you got in that room concerning the amount of what you have, the cost of it all, how long it took you to acquire it, the work involved, okay, in acquiring it, okay, and how precious and valuable these things are to you. Now, the reason why I'm telling you to do this, and this obviously includes everything in your office, computers, whatever you own, every single stitch of every single bit of every single thing you own, look at that as far as it being how valuable it is to you, how much it costs you, how it assists you in living and functioning on a daily basis, okay, and what it took to acquire it, and then think to yourself, this reality, and this is a real reality question here, okay? What would it mean to you if somebody literally forced you, physically forced you out of your home, and then you lost every single stitch of every single thing in your home, okay, because of it? The only way that you're going to be able to really understand the depth and measure of what gang stalking victims endure related to just this issue is to really sit back logically with a mature posture and sit back and look at that statement. That's not like some statement that's being made by somebody who's being emotional or high-minded. This is the reality of what gang stalking victims endure, and this is just one aspect of what we endure. Then they go after our cars. Then they go after our relationships. Then they go, oh, absolutely. Then they go after our bank accounts, our savings, okay? Our minds and our body, non-consensual human experimentation. All of that is nothing but extreme torture. Daily, endlessly, viciously, sadistically, literally. Now, and this is only about 20% of what we're enduring. So let me expose to you some of the things that I lost in my home. And I'm going to go out of my way to expose this to you because I want, if you ever see me in La Jolla, within San Diego, California, okay, and you see me walking down the street, either walking my bike or riding my bike, I got these saddlebags that I bought that get put on the back rack of my bike. Just hear me out. Okay, I wear a backpack and I carry a duffel bag on my handlebars. Why? Because these wild satanic whores not only purposely caused me to lose everything in Michigan on top of staging vehicle accidents. Okay, research all my descriptions to gang stalking. Oh, absolutely. And sabotaging my car electronically and mechanically before they then stage the vehicle accident, causing me to go through hundreds and hundreds of dollars, because that's what they do. They go after your money too. When they want to, see, they want to put you out on the street. So when they put you out on the street, they want to make sure that when you're out on the street, because they know they're going to continue the continued expedition against you, they want to be able to get as much away from you that assists you in staying independent. Money, property, savings, okay? Because these are resources that help you survive. They don't want you to help. They don't want you to survive. They want you to end up where they want you to end up at. If you have things and money and resources to depend on, then you are more personally independent. So imagine you having in your office a $300 drafting table, okay, a computer, desktop, a monitor, a printer, okay, and then hundreds and hundreds of dollars of drafting tools and equipment, okay, hundreds of dollars in CDs and printer cartridges, and hundreds and hundreds of dollars of office supply equipment like files, folders, everything that, especially if you are an individual who has a pretty complete office system in your home, files, folders, what it takes to label your files and folders, all the money you spent on printing and printing cartridges for thousands of pieces of papers in these hundreds of files and folders, okay, magic markers, pens, papers, paper clips, and much, 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 much more. I mean, what I had in my office alone cost well over $5,000. That wasn't including the tens of thousands of dollars that I had in college textbooks. Okay? That's not including the cost of my bed. Okay? The blankets, the sheets, the pillows, the pillowcases. Okay? All my clothes. Okay? Everything in my kitchen, from down to the most one fork to everything that you see in your kitchen, everything you see in your living room, everything you see in your office, bathroom, okay? Every single stitch of every single thing I owned, down to everything in the bathroom, everything I owned was fucking stolen from me and literally ended up in the hands of the satanic bitches who managed all this, who are also intimately, directly connected to the wild whores that staged the brutal rape of me in Michigan. So if you can imagine this happening to you by and through complete strangers pertaining to the ones hosting it, who then use people that were put in your life through a staged event through the Dearborn police and their lying organized crime whore ass, oh absolutely, through a staged event, when we listen to a fellow human being, and I'm mostly talking to people who are out there who care about innocent people who are being victimized, okay? When we sit back and we look at how our government claims that they're fighting crime and that they're prosecuting criminals and that the police are here to keep you safe, it's nothing but lying bullshit from A to Z, from top to bottom, and every angle in between. It's nothing but complete, thorough, pure, lying, complete, thorough bullshit. Okay? Absolutely. Because you gotta understand something about gang stalking. When you research the government and the police in gang stalking, look at how many Google generated responses you get. And that includes researching the intelligence agencies and the military's role and connection and implicated connection to this crime. Okay? So if you ever see me in San Diego walking anywhere or inside of any store and I'm pushing my fucking bike, I want you to think to yourself, whether it be on a day where I might have to where I might look a little grubbier because I might be on the end of a laundry cycle, or I might be running around, I might even be looking grubby because of the things that I endure every day, purposely, intentionally perpetrated, that then in turn affects my schedule, that then doesn't allow me to get to where I got my clean clothes. See, what you gotta understand about gang stalking, you need to also research slander in gang stalking. Because think about this. When hold on. How are they getting the community to harass a completely innocent person? By telling them lies about the victim. So when you research extensively the type of slander that's being said about gang stalking victims, their descriptions of the slander, where gang stalking victims are being labeled as criminals, social deviants, of any and all flavors and kinds, research that extensively in order to be able to get the names of the types of the descriptions of the slander that gang stalking victims are being slandered about. Okay, if they can call a victim a drug addict, okay, an alcoholic, a social deviant of any kind, okay, I think you're getting the picture, or a criminal of some kind. And then they're told that they're trying to run the person out of the community, and then they're told what to do around the victim, concerning the victim, and at times towards the victim. Excuse me. Now, if you take any type of slander that can be told about a gang stalking victim, and then, like, here's a great example of this, and you got to really listen to what I'm saying slowly and then investigate it, because there's the truth. The truth is in the statement, but when you research it, you're gonna that truth is going to be it's going to be justified by and through the research results. Okay, so let's say if you got a victim who's being hit in the face, mouth, throat, head, whatever, with directed energy weapons, especially over long time periods. Well, why do you think gang stalking victims are on the internet stating that they're losing their teeth because of being hit in the face, mouth, and throat with electromagnetic weapons, direct energy weapons? And here's another tidbit that you need to know, and you need to know this immediately. There are doctors, professors, and scientists writing about this, including in books, that these wild whores are literally, including pertaining to what's reported about how they're even using dentists to assist in it. Go to Google and research extensively at Google how it's being reported that implants, just hear me out, about how implants, biomedical implants, are being put in the cheeks, the throat, the mouth, the gums, okay, even the tongue, even in the roof of the mouth of gang stalking victims. So what you need to understand about this is that if the gang stalking victim has any of these types of implants put in your in the areas I just described, well then when the victim walks into a intentionally propped up electromagnetic field, and when you hear this and you don't know nothing about gang stalking, trust me, I can understand if you're thinking what the what the F is she saying. Extensively research it. You're gonna see truth when you do the research. Okay, healthy skepticism is one thing, but walking away from descriptions without researching it and then saying that this is bullshit, that's stupid. Because you're not going to get to the truth if you don't research it. The truth is the devil's in the details, and you'll get the details through the research. So when you look at the extreme, horrific, heinous nature behind the pathology of these wild whores who perpetrate this crime, the only way you'll see truth is through the research. You're being introduced to the subject matter by the victims who have done the research and or are enduring it through experience. So if you can put implants in a victim's tongue, okay, in their mouth, in their gums, in the roof of their mouth, in their throat, and then send those implants, which are operating by and through radio telemetry, electromagnetic weapons, direct energy weapons, what you're doing then is literally frying out that area of the body, especially if the victim's a smoker. That way, when the victim comes down with throat cancer, mouth cancer, face cancer, they can just say, hey, baby, you shouldn't have been smoking. Okay? And their lying, whore-ass doctors will back that up. They will completely ignore the reality that you're a victim of these types of remote technologies because they're literally part of the crime syndicate and or controlled by them. And doctors are in hospitals and nurses and administrative staff, they're some of the biggest reported places, hospitals, medical centers, medical clinics, and employment descriptions that are intimately involved in this crime because they make massive money through insurance fraud racketeering schemes concerning and connecting to these crimes. Absolutely. So they're not going to say you came down with face cancer, throat cancer, mouth cancer, okay, thyroid cancer because of electromagnetic weapons and direct energy weapons and x-ray weapons and radar guns and plasma weapons. They're going to say you came down with it because you smoke. Well, they know you smoke because their whole asses are up into your life. Okay? Absolutely. So, okay, they say, okay, well, he's a smoker. Let's put the implants in the throat. He's a smoker. Let's put them in the cheeks, the mouth, the gums, the tongue, the roof of the mouth. Then we'll send electromagnetic weapons, direct energy weapons, energy to that area. The implants absorb and conduct the energy. Then the victim comes down with these health maladies. Now, when the victim is being hit in these areas, just a few of many areas, including the brain, then what happens is the victim loses their teeth. Now, how many drug addicts out there have lost their teeth? Okay? All right? And by the way, you need to go to Google, write this down. Go to Google and type in lunar cycle, that's one word, lunar cycle, brainwave frequency list. Okay, and then press enter. Now, it's a website dedicated to what specific frequencies are dedicated to certain brain states and health maladies. You're going to see alcoholism and drug addiction right there. And then research remote neuromonitoring and brain stimulation. Oh, absolutely. And that's a whole nother subject matter. Absolutely. And you should also research voice-to-skull with voice morphing, because that plays a role in that shit as well. Oh, absolutely. But check this out. So, when you look at the slander connected to gang stalking, if you've been targeting a gang stalking victim for 5, 10, 15, 20 or more years, and you've been hitting their mouth, face, throat, brain, okay, in other areas with electromagnetic weapons, they're going to lose their teeth. Well, then their face starts to sink in. Right? Now, then you put them out on the street, okay? And then you use the community members buying through slander and say, we want this person out of our community because they're involved in social deviant behavior. Oh, yeah. If you call them a drug addict or a alcoholic or a pedophile or a child abuser. Well, if you can make that person look like the type of people that fit that type of a couple of those descriptions, well, then the slander is more believable. All the while, the victim has been brutalized beyond your mind's dimensions, neurologically, physically, electrophysiologically, brutally, in the most sadistic ways your mind can conceive and cannot, in order to create these physical manifestations, which then allow the perpetrators to have a more believable presentation concerning the slander. Remember, how many drug addicts have lost their teeth? Well, when you research how electromagnetic weapons and directed energy weapons cause the teeth to fall out, well then boom, the slander fits the physical effect of the electromagnetic weapons, because these types of people, drug addicts, will lose their teeth, but gang stalking victims who are being hit with electromagnetic weapons to the mouth, face, and throat are losing their teeth. So how believable then would the slander be? Okay? See, what you gotta understand about gang stalking is we're literally dealing with the most evil, sadistic, wild, filthy, maggot criminals that have ever walked this planet. Okay? That is no exaggeration. Professors, scientists, and researchers are saying it, and even the individuals who helped develop the technologies that are being used on gang stalking victims who are online exposing this crime, ex-CIA scientist Dr. Robert Duncan, are saying it. That these are the most evil, demonic rats that have ever walked this fucking planet. Okay? They will do anything and everything at any and all times, anywhere, to anyone, in order to not only destroy their lives, the victim's life, okay, in order to enslave the victim. They look at the victim as nothing but a straw person, which means a number that they can make money off of. Your social security number, racketeering schemes, insurance fraud schemes of all forms. Okay, oh, absolutely, including life insurance fraud schemes. They'll take out third-party life insurance policies on you, then fucking murder you, and then cash in on the policy. Complete strangers to the victim. Total and complete strangers. Okay? Absolutely. So if you can imagine if you ever see me in La Jolla and in San Diego, what I described to you concerning what I had in my home, in my office, the drafting tables, the computers, the thousands and thousands of dollars of college textbooks, okay, they literally stole every single item in my home. The only way for you going to be able to see the actual magnitude of that is to look at everything in your home and then say to yourself, okay, how would I feel if somebody, a complete stranger to me, caused me to lose every single thing that I know and see is in my home, including your car, including your bank account, including your savings, including your credit, and do this to me buying through an intentionally effective program brought about through applied techniques, methods, and tactics in cooperative relationships. Because that's exactly what gang stalking's doing. They did it to me. They did it to me endlessly out here in Michigan, Connecticut, and San Diego. I went through tens and tens of thousands of dollars. Hold on. In camping gear, clothes, hiking gear, okay, and all other forms of property that I've had to buy and then ended up losing because of a continued expedition that has been intentionally perpetrated against me and my life every single day since August 8, 2011. Every single day. Okay? You got to remember something about gang stalking. And gang stalking is a program. It operates by and through, but not limited to, covert colluding relationships. Okay? Specific applied techniques, methods, and tactics that are designed to be very hard to prove, yet when they're perpetrated, they're designed in order to achieve motives. Those motives, when they perpetrate the technique, method, and tactic, and other crimes they perpetrate, it then creates effects in the victim's life. Those effects then create circumstances. Those circumstances are then monopolized on by and through other applied methods and tactics and techniques that then create other cascading effects. Those then cascading effects, while the other ones still remain constant, are then continually monopolized on in order to keep the victim in the program. Okay? And then remember, these are only a few of the things that are going on. So, I wanted to make this video because these wild whores, these absolute demonic human trafficking, murdering whores, and that's all they are, but they're much more. Okay, they're involved in every crime motivation you can think of. They will do this to victims throughout their entire lifespan. They will do you can become a victim at 18, 19 years old and remain a victim for the rest of your life. Many victims are even targeted, believe it or not, literally from birth, because they're sold into these programs. Absolutely. It doesn't matter what age you are picked, you are sold into an endless program. Okay, an endless program. Now, remember what I said at the beginning of this video. This is just tidbits of information. Okay? But all of them are the truth. So when you see, and then think about this, these little wild demonic maggots, these criminally, I hate their guts like you would not believe. Okay, oh, absolutely. Righteously and justifiably. Okay, oh, absolutely. So imagine then someone making you homeless and then using the homelessness against you. Oh, if you expose too much, Leslie, we're going to privately collude with the landlord, okay, or the property owner that you're of the area that you're utilizing. We're going to track you to it so we know which one you're at, and then we're going to look up the tax ID of the property owner, and then we're going to call them up and collude with them, or we'll use, hold on, or we'll use some other, okay, useful idiot to be the go-between between, okay, the property owner and the victim. So then that way they have some normal apparent excuse concerning why the property owner knows you're on the property. Here's a great example of it. You know what they did in Michigan? Okay, when I was exposing the hell out of them in Michigan all over the internet, it was getting pretty serious too. Because I was going down to the ACLU, I was going down to newspaper stations, TV stations, and everything. And the FBI. So you know what they did? They gave some bullshit excuse that an anonymous person heard me at a wooded area across the street from U of M and called the police. Well, if it's an anonymous person, how are you ever going to find out if the call really ever took place, and if it did, who did the call, so you can then have them subpoenaed once you then sue the police. So that's staged probable cause, right? So if they want to keep the police's connection to this and the court's connection to this crime more covert, then they're going to use useful idiots between whoever they then use to come against you, okay? See, if you're made homeless through this crime, these wild whores know that all creatures on this planet have to sleep. Right? So they know they made you homeless. They know you know that you'll be gang stalked to homeless shelters. They know you know that even if the government or some other third party that they'll absolutely collude with, because this crime is everywhere. It's in any and all environments this crime can perpetrate itself through. You'll know that just by extensively researching all the different places gang stalking victims are being gang stalked to and at. Grocery stores, restaurants, movie theaters, banks, post offices, okay, social services, the DMV, Social Security, universities, colleges, high schools, every business type of business you can think of, Google it to gang stalking, right? So they'll even try and make it appear that they're coming to your rescue. Oh, we can take you to a homeless shelter, or oh, we can get you hooked up into an apartment. That ain't nothing but lying bullshit. These wild satanic whores want to be able to track you to where you're at so that they can intentionally, purposely, literally fry out your body from head to toe through electromagnetic weapons and direct energy weapons and scalar weapons and plasma weapons. Well, when you're homeless, you can try and move from place to place to place to make them work harder for that, because they got to track you to do it. But if you're in an apartment, you're in a fixed vectored area, an area where they can vector you concerning the entire parameter of the location, so that they can just put their whore asses up around you from all directions in order to target you endlessly. They're not here to come to your rescue. They're here to take you to third and fourth places, just like rapists do. And if you don't believe they're not doing that, research how many gang stalking victims all over America are stating they're being tortured in their own homes, and research how it's reported that they will rent apartments, homes, motel rooms around victims' homes and where they stay. I gotta go because this video is almost at 33 minutes and 9 seconds, and this phone only allows me to make 33-minute and 9-second long videos. So if you ever see me in San Diego and you see me out and about in the community pushing a bike, now you know why. Have a good day, everybody.